Go back to this budget. I know this just a couple weeks ago, I asked you this question, but I was hoping maybe we've gotten some more clarity over the last couple of weeks. You rushed through a budget 2 weeks ago, a little over 2 weeks ago. I just want to ask you again, what was the rush trying to pass that budget? You and I did talk about this. You've never passed a budget this early, so have you been able to get some more clarity about why it was pushed through so early?
The budget was discussed in the budget hearings. There was an attempt to discuss it further in the Finance Committee. There was an attempt to discuss it even in detail at the Commission hearing. There was no, quote, rush to pass a budget, but we did pass the budget. The whole process was messy. I take responsibility for that. I'm the finance chair. We have put in place a process because there was no real process in place. We put that process in. We're going to follow that process and have an open discussion about the budget in a timely manner and with enough time to discuss it. So there was no rush to a budget. Will we bring it back up? The budget's set. There's not a whole lot of appetite to bring it back up. It's passed. But I take responsibility for that budget process because I'm the finance chair. As Theodore Roosevelt said, buck stops here, and I certainly I accept that premise. And my goodness, all the arrows have stopped here, so the buck can stop here too.
As the buck stops there, sir, your sentiment or your feeling about this budget, are you proud of this budget as these arrows stop there?
I'm not proud of this budget. I'm not proud of this budget process. I'm not proud of anything, but the budget's in place and it's set, and that's where we're going to work from there.
Why not take the time to have a budget that you are proud of?
Well, I'm not sure that we would ever be proud of the budget. Like I said, there's no appetite to revisit this issue. So we're going to take this budget, we'll work from it, and there's some things that, some housekeeping things that we'll do, but otherwise, that is the budget, and that's where we're going to go.
Given the fact that you call this a messy process, I'm not sure many people would disagree with you, but what did y'all learn so that it's not this messy?
To put a process in place and say, hey, this we should have the information to the commissioners by this date. We should have these budget hearings by this date. We should know if there's any changes that's been made by somebody somewhere. We should be able to have that information. We should know what the departments are bringing and asking for. We should be able to at least hear that. If the county manager says we're gonna move this item or not give you this much money, we should at least hear that. So then when we have these budget hearings with the commission, we'll understand what has come before and what it is that we may need to ask them to do. Instead of these, when the finance chair gets the budget in 2 revised editions 3 days before the budget hearings, that process is messy. That's unacceptable. And that's why we passed the administrative order to say, hey, look, Mr. County Manager, this is your duty, because it's his duty to put the budget forward. But here's what you do. Here's how the department should report to you. If there's any revisions, then let us know what those revisions are and why, so that we understand, like, hey, what is the budget process? Why has this money been moved, or where did this money go? It's a mess. It was a messy process. I'm the first to admit it, but it's not going to be that way. And also, we had all these things added for all these items that were added at the end, and I don't know that, I said it in a commission meeting, and that is, if you're going to have extras, you should do your budget first At the end of the budget, if there's anything left over, then maybe we can have entities come in who are seeking funds, because they're always there, they're always gonna do it. But then come in at the end, if there's any funds left, then we can collectively decide, okay, you know, this is something that we should support, this is a good item that we should support, and do it at the end instead of in the budget going forward.
Forgive me, but you say, you know, you didn't know where this was coming from, you had all these revisions. Couldn't you have cleared that up if you had passed the budget during the same time that you normally do, just towards the end of September?
I don't know. I asked, where did this come from or where did this come from? So we're not gonna point any fingers, we're gonna just learn from this. We're gonna not try to throw anybody under the bus. We're gonna learn from this process. We're gonna do it right. We're gonna do it openly. We're gonna do it transparently. And that's all I can do at this point to go.